Well, hello and welcome back to this episode of the Law of Relevancy podcast. I'm your host, Cord Owen. I'm also the CEO of Bake More Pies, a Tampa-based digital marketing and advertising agency. Today, we're joined by Alexia Mckay. She is an entrepreneur and journalist, and she's doing some really cool things that I'm excited to talk about today. Hi, Alexia.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for joining us on the Law of Relevancy podcast.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, we're very interested in talking with you because I think you've got a great story about how you've identified some potential needs out in the marketplace and you took action.
Yes, at least I think I'm trying to. I'm trying to do it, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about your background and what you've started.
Well, I am a Tampa native, born and raised here. I went to Howard W. Blake High School, which is a magnet school for for performing arts. I went there for creative writing, hence I'm a journalist. That's where I went. Afterwards, I attended Florida A&M University, where I majored in journalism with a kind of concentration in magazine production. But the funny part is, after I graduated, because I went into FAMU with the idea of wanting to live the Carrie Bradshaw life. You know, if anyone's familiar with Sex and the City, like I wanted to move to New York and work for this big magazine publication. I didn't want her man problems. So if you follow the show, like I don't want all those big problems and all of that stuff, but I wanted everything else. So the idea of wanting to do a magazine was in college, but I wasn't sure. I know I always wanted to do my own platform, do my own thing. I just didn't know how, but I knew I was in the industry to do it. So when I graduated, I actually got into the television industry, where I worked as a television producer for the next 6 or 7 years. I worked with Spectrum, ABC, CBS, worked down here in Florida. My first job was in Tallahassee after college. Then I just basically came to Florida. Came to Tampa, Sarasota area, and just basically stayed here. Again, that was not the plan, but that's what the stars had aligned for me to come here. And while I was in the midst of my television career, I noticed the pattern when it comes to news coverage and what I would like to do, what I was passionate about. And of course, as a young African American woman, I'm all about representation and seeing people and seeing stories that relate to me and seeing people that look like me and having impacts in the community. And I wanted to see more of that. So I got the idea to create my own platform, start a blog. RoyalTee Magazine actually started as just a whatever blog. I used to go online and just write about things. Like a lot of my stories would be inspired from things that we would cover in the news. And I would take that and just expand on it because I want to know more about it.
Sure.
I want to dig deeper into it. And the idea for the magazine part of it came maybe like in 2016, perhaps. And I was just sitting in the car with my boyfriend at the time. And I was just like, I really want to do a magazine. Like, I mean, that's what I went to school for. Why not? I can just put some stories together, put it in a book and see what happens. Maybe people will like it, maybe people won't. At the time, I just wanted to just try one magazine. This is like a hobby, just to kind of get it out of my system. But then one magazine turned to two magazines turned to three. Then we have a website, then we have a team, and then fast forward, this is where I am now with building a magazine company, RoyalTee Magazine, and also still working in my career. I'm not doing TV at the moment, but I'm still, obviously, I always like to tell people I'm still in the industry as a journalist. I'm a freelance writer. I'm a reporter. When I'm not writing for RoyalTee Magazine, I'm still writing. I'm always writing. I'm always telling stories. And so that's the exciting part of it. And it's been a ride and I've been enjoying it.
That's fantastic. So right now, how many magazines have you published?
I've published 8.
So
8 magazines.
You've published 8 and you're working on your 9th right now.
The 9th one, the spring one. Yeah, it's let me tell you, it's a trial. It's a trial. I learned something new from every issue. Like I could pick up a magazine and think, oh my God, this is perfect when it's done. And then I look to the next magazine, oh, I should have done this. But the average person looking at it may not notice those things, but I do. I notice them. So I try to make each magazine better than the last, from the cover to the layouts. I design the majority everything on the computer. Like it's all mine.
Well, I think that's the story of most entrepreneurs that are starting businesses, by themselves, right? A lot of times you're doing all the work. Sometimes you're able to bring in interns to help out. I know that you've got an internship program.
Yes, I have an internship program that I started last year. So I bring in college students, preferably those who are journalism, in the media, whether that's graphic design, PR. I guess we could arguably say marketing. Some people are like, not marketing is not journal. I'm like, it's got some similarities. I mean, they work with us. So whatever, communications.
Yeah, we all have
must,
an audience.
we all have an audience. And from my TV people, I know a lot of TV people who have made great PR and marketing professionals when they make that transition out of news life. But so yes, I bring in interns. I have editorial interns, social media ones, and it's great to be a mentor to them, to teach them. And I just had to get first of all, I had to get my hats off to teachers, because, oh my gosh, my hats off to you, because the patience is golden. And yeah, it's been a learning experience just working with students and teaching them, because I remember when I was in that situation with them, when I was their age in that position, how I had people to mentor and help me. So it's nice to be that for other people. And it's also been a personal lesson of just letting go, because I see RoyalTee as most business owners, your business is your baby. That is your child. And you have like separation issues. Like if I can't do, I don't trust everybody to do it. I have to do this myself. I have to do everything. If it's going to turn out the way I want it to be, I have to do everything. And I'm just getting to a place in my career, my entrepreneurial career, where I understand that I can't do everything. It's too much. You're going to get burnt out. You're going to get overwhelmed. You don't know everything. So it's okay. You must be okay with stepping back and letting other people help you. You must be okay with stepping back and letting other people take over some things. That's the whole joy of being a CEO of something, to be an owner of everything. You're not meant to work your entire business doing everything by yourself forever. So it's been an amazing experience, and just learning within myself to learning about trust and dependability, and just learning about working within a team, and just stepping back and just trust that your words of wisdom and teaching and whatever they have going on, that they're going to do the job, and it's going to be great.
No, you're 100% right. I like to use one word to describe that, and that's just plain leadership.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, as an entrepreneur, you're not going to be able to do all the things. And if you may do all the jobs in the beginning, but once this thing gets off the ground, in order for it to scale, you've got to share the work, or else you'll never be able to scale.
Yeah, you have to set that foundation as the founder, as the creator or whatnot. But for example, me, I'm a very right brain person. Like your left brain people, your right brain people. I'm very creative. When I was younger, I was a bookworm. I wrote poetry. I did short stories. I just always loved to write. Hence that writing thing. It was just always in me. When it comes to the magazine, I'm very creative when it comes to creating a concept, the theme, the layout. I got it. But as far as that left brain and those analytical things, can I walk into a boardroom in New York City with this board and explain to my investors why I need 50K and how we're going to use that 50K to grow the business? I may need a little help on that. I may need some tutoring on that. So that's why I have advertising people. That's why I have those more business-minded people who kind of help me and teach me on those areas that I may be still a little weak in, and I'm still learning. And I'm in a transparent place. I just feel like as entrepreneurs and just business owners, you just had to always be open and willing to learn, and just understand that you don't know everything, and you're still learning. It's still educational for me. This field of entrepreneurship is just my business. I'm still constantly teaching myself in my field about how to be a better business owner, how to be better in leadership, how to be better in whatever field I'm doing. I'm taking seminars. listening to mentors, I'm taking classes. It's an ongoing thing, and I'm okay to admit to people that I'm still learning and sharing with people things that I have learned and things that I picked up, words of wisdom. And I'm also open to share my mistakes. Like, hey, don't do this because I did it and it didn't work out.
Sure. Yeah. I think being a great listener is one of the biggest things you can do, and the best things you can do is as a leader, and always being open to learning. Right.
Mhm.
So, so as someone who has always had that spark, I mean, I think you published your first book. What was it? Blindfolded Poetry, I think it was the name of it. Back.
Yeah, in high school.
And so then, and so it's like you've always sort of had this vision of being able to take something from a spark of an idea and not just write the story, but then package it and deliver it as something that people can have, right? It's not like you just turned in your work. You took your work and you created a book,
Yeah.
right? And now you're doing the same thing with your magazine and you're turning it into
Mhm.
a product. And so as someone who's creating content for a living, tell us a little bit about how you make the connection on the business side. So obviously you've got an audience, you've got readers, and then how do you go out and find those advertisers? How do you show them the value?
Well, first of all, it's all about understanding your reader and knowing what they want, right? Know what they want, figuring out what they want to know about, what are they talking about. So understanding my reader, because I am one of my readers. I am the audience that I am representing. RoyalTee is all about millennials, young millennials. I am one of that great age. And so understanding the readers and making sure that I am covering the topics, I'm covering the subjects that people want to hear about. So for example, we have 3 sections: on the go, on the rise, royal woman, and now royal men, because RoyalTee started as an all girl, all female thing, girls club. But last year we started becoming co-ed. But when COVID happened, that whole rebranding of trying to make it co-ed was put on like the back burner. So now we're trying to slowly pick it up again and make it more appealing. So the current project is, hey, what do guys want to hear about besides cars and women? But surprisingly, when I did my survey, guys don't really want to hear about us. They don't care about women like that. Their main concern is financing, self-growth. Financing was really big. Self-growth. They're really big in the mental health. They want to know what's going on in their community. They're really big into politics. And I'm like, okay. Meanwhile, women are more into relationships and, you know, makeup, beauty. Of course, they want to know about the next girl boss coming on. So when I'm looking at those things and researching, and I'm making sure that I'm looking at companies and brands who adhere to those subjects and who may be appealing to want to feature in RoyalTee Magazine and who may want to advertise with us. And then in turn, they see the materials that we offer and they're like, hey, this is a good investment. You know, this is something we want to hop on the train and get on while the train is still smoking at the station. So
Sure.
creating those long lasting partnerships. I'm in a place right now like I said, I'm transparent enough to say RoyalTee's still a baby. So I'm still dating and I'm still getting to, building my relationships, my business relationships with people and buttering them up or whatnot. And so, RoyalTee is still in that place where we're trying to appeal to those kind of businesses, and when they see the potential and they see what we offer, they're like, hey, this is pretty cool. We can vibe with this. We can hop on this train. Then that's really beneficial. We have returning advertisers, which huge supporters, which is really beneficial to us. And through that opportunity, we're allowed to go to seminars. We're allowed to go to events, host events, or be a headliner at certain events or things like that, which is really exciting. And also in return, it gives those businesses and advertisers an opportunity to promote their brand, promote their product. And RoyalTee is really big on small businesses and advocating for small businesses, promoting small businesses. Not that we want like an ad from Coca-Cola one day, that would be great. but really big on shining light on those little known hidden jewels and businesses that you otherwise may not have known about. So it's kind of like a gift, a win-win situation when it comes to advertising and reaching out and getting those promoters and advertisers to sponsor us here in the Tampa Bay area, as well as nationally, because although RoyalTee is based here in Tampa, we have national appeal. We have an audience in Atlanta. We have an audience in Los Angeles. We have an audience in New York. I haven't even been to New York or RoyalTee yet, so I don't even know how we got to New York. But that's great that people up there are feeling it.
That's exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, we have an audience in Texas. So we're looking to be a national brand to appeal to everyone. And once again, it's just like giving you that platform to share what you're doing as a business owner. And even if you're not a business owner, because we appeal to people who are just doing phenomenal royalty work in your career, your corporate career, or whatever your 9-to-5 is. Hats off to you, because I think as entrepreneurs, we forget, or we just don't talk enough about those 9-to-5ers or people in their career. And it's okay if you don't want to be an entrepreneur. This is not for everybody. This is not, entrepreneurship is not for everybody. So we want to shine a light on those people who are making impacts in their careers as well, because we need you, like teachers, we need you, doctors, we need you, lawyers, we need you. And you're making your impact just as much as anyone else like myself who's making that self impact as well. So yes.
Yeah, I like the fact that you're working with, as a young entrepreneur yourself, you're someone who has a small business, and it's obviously growing, and you're seems like you're very nimble, and you're able to evolve your business as your vision for like where the magazine goes, right? But it seems like you're also, not only that's who you are, but you're providing a platform so that these other small businesses, you're providing a platform for them to be more successful as well through your magazine. So that's really cool how you're spreading it around.
Yeah, I love collaborating with people. Fun fact, majority of my covers have been collaborative efforts when it comes to photographers, when it comes to makeup people, especially photography. It's your opportunity to be featured in a growing magazine, have your spread featured in a growing magazine, growing publication. It's the start of a partnership and they're really big on promotion. They're like, oh, I see this opportunity. Hey, I want to take advantage of it. I want to be a part of this. This is kind of like a rare opportunity and things like that. So I'm really big on collaborating and giving other creatives an opportunity to work with you and feature your work in return. Yeah.
So explain in detail, like, what do you mean by the collaboration? Are you, and forgive me, I don't know what you mean. Are you providing these photographers the ability to put their photography in your magazine for exposure to help their career later on? Like what do you mean by the collaboration itself?
Well, a little bit of both of that, because we do submissions as well. So for each issue, we open it up for open submissions for photographers, for writers, and it's just general rules. For example, your pieces cannot be published anywhere else. It must be your original work. But there will be some circumstances where I come to a photographer. I believe this happened in my summer issue. I came to a photographer about a creative project that I wanted to do. And ironically, she wanted to do something like that as well. She was like, oh, I always wanted to do something like that. I was putting it together. We should definitely get together and just kind of make it happen. Since this is something that we both wanted to do, why not take this opportunity and work on it together? So that's where the collaborative effort comes from. Yeah.
Well, that's really cool that you're able to work together with her on that. Is there anybody in your career early on who was sort of a mentor to you? Someone who showed you, or if you just always innately just known how to get things done?
Oh, well, I can definitely say it was, of course I'm going to say my parents, because they just put that go-getter attitude in me that I can just do whatever I want to do. First of all, I put my mind to it, and with hard work. They've always been my biggest supporters, my biggest encouragers. And I would just have to be my sister, because my sister is just a boss in her own right. Both of them. I have two sisters. I'm the youngest. I'm the baby. My oldest sister she's girl history herself, herstory. She's the first Black senior vice president of Suncoast Credit Union. She was their first Black manager, or whatnot. So she's always put that idea of leadership and creating your own opportunity in your life, and thus opening the door for other people. So she's always been a huge encourager of mine and a huge role model that I look up to. And also my middle sister, who's very creative. Like we're all pretty much creative, but I'm pretty much the only one in the family that's kind of like branched out and did an entrepreneur thing. But we're pretty, like, I took my creativity and was like, I'm gonna do something with it, figure, see where it goes. So I'm not down the line like shoulda, coulda, woulda. Let me just try it. And if all else fails, I have my career to lay back on.
That's right.
Hey, I still think that way, but there's that transparency. So both of my sisters have really taught me to just be unapologetically just work towards your goals, and nothing is impossible for you to do it. Believe in yourself and be authentic. Be authentic in your brand, which is something that I strive for in RoyalTee, and not seeking to look at the next brand or like-minded thing. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Oh my God. Like, they have like 50,000 followers and I have like this little number, or they have all of this and this and that. And just stop looking at other people, because their story, understanding that their story is not my story. And as long as I stay authentic to my brand, then that growth and that success, and I work hard at it, and I'm genuine about it, and I'm passionate about it, and I'm doing what I need to do, it's going to come. It's everything is going to work out. Everything is a learning curve. Success doesn't happen overnight, but the goal is to keep going, to have that perseverance, which I feel like my family has taught me, just having that perseverance and this having that courage to just step out of your comfort zone.
Right.
Do something that's uncomfortable. To me, this is uncomfortable. Being an entrepreneur is very uncomfortable to me, because I'm used to stability. I'm used to having a stable career. I'm used to having a stable check. I have this stability, and just understanding, like, when you're doing your own lane and being your own boss, you don't have that stability. So learning to kind of like go with the flow or whatnot has been another thing I'm learning to deal with and be excited about. It was scary at first, but it's exciting now. I'm excited to see what happened and what's around the corner. And of course, every day is not all butterflies and rainbows. There's some days where I just kind of like don't want to do nothing. But on those days, I have to check myself. That goes that mental health, that self-care, that self-check. Like, hey, you know what? Let me just back up. Let me just sit back a little minute. Let me just meditate a little bit, just me time, not do no work. Let me close my computer and I'm just a day to myself. Just let me think about it, and I'll entertain it the next day. I'll come back and hop back on it. So yeah.
Yeah. So your brand, I mean, obviously you come across as an extremely authentic person, and your brand has taken some branches, like you mentioned, wanting to include more articles for men. It's really interesting that you mentioned that the men were really interested in mental health. That's probably like a new thing, for us. We used to just have to be tough, right? But one of the other branches that you've split off from, and it looks like you've successfully done, is the RoyalTee Girls.
Yes, that's my other baby. I call that the newborn baby. This is yes. RoyalTee she just started crawling. I'm so happy for her. Yeah. RoyalTee Girls, we're just trying to get that mother of two thing going. But RoyalTee Girls is the mini version of RoyalTee Magazine, and it focuses primarily, it's like for my teens and younger adults like myself. I believe like the millennial, is it Gen Z? Are they the Gen Z?
I think
the Gen Y?
The new ones, the Gen Z, yeah.
Gen Z, okay, yeah, okay, that's right. All right, there you go. The Gen Z and below, and the focus on that is really for minority girls, young girls of color, because I remember just growing up, and this is like outside of RoyalTee. I just remember growing up as a teenager and this as a little girl, just me always being a bookworm and me always loving to read and everything like that, there was never really a publication that really spoke to young Black girls like me. I mean, every once in a while, you'll pick up a 17 magazine, you may see a Black girl here and there, something like that, talking about whatever. There was another magazine called J5 or whatnot, but other than that, there was really not a platform or a publication for young girls like myself to go to and relate to and get stories from and learn from and just see other girls like me. So I wanted RoyalTee to be that outlet for those little girls, for what I say little girls, younger girls like myself who may have otherwise not had that outlet, so have that platform. And RoyalTee Girls is all about empowerment, self-love.
Right.
Of course, we talk about entrepreneurship as well, because there are some amazing, we call them kidpreneurs and teenpreneurs, but we also advocate for education because, of course, education matters. We want to make sure that we enforce that education and also that authenticity, and it's building that confidence, because we have to understand as people, not everyone grew up the same way that you had. I grew up in a very loving family who was always just loving on me and nurturing me and encouraging me. A lot of kids didn't get that. They may have gone their whole life without someone telling them, I'm proud of you, I love you, I support you, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. There are a lot of children who were not fortunate enough to have that kind of environment, to have that kind of village. So RoyalTee Girls is that outlet for those individuals to get that. Like, if no one has told you today or it's ever told you before, you are worth it, you are deserving, you are royalty. Hence the word royalty, which I don't think I mentioned where royalty comes from, but royalty, the principal color is purple. Purple is a very strong color. It represents royalty. And also the TEE, to triumph, to evolve, to be elite. That's what the ROYALTE stands for. And it's the affirmation for every time that you say it, to triumph. I'm a winner. I'm a winner. I'm bringing my best. I'm going to win whatever comes in front of me, whatever my trials and tribulation is. At the end of the day, it's victory. It's just destined. It's already written in the stars what's going to happen. To evolve. Yes, I am going to make mistakes. Yes, I am going to go through some pitfalls. I'm going to go through some roller coasters. But through it all, I'm evolving. I'm growing more wiser. I'm learning. I'm smarter for it. I'm better for it. And to be elite, to be elite and authentic, and know that there's no one else that's like you. There's no one else who can do the things that you do. Like, you were created, whatever your religious beliefs or whatnot, you were created with a certain set of gifts and opportunities or whatnot that were just designed just for you. And no one can take that away. That's an elite opportunity. So to remember, to triumph, to evolve, to be elite. And especially in the African-American community or whatnot, where, there's a history of like where your worth or you as a person has always been, put on the spotlight, just put in a negative spotlight. Just remembering your history, your legacy, that you come from royalty, you come from a great people, you come from a great history, you come from a great culture, and just those many affirmations. So every time I want people to see royalty or say royalty or just see our content, those are the things that I want you to be empowered and feel. And so that's like a lot what I sell in with the girls. Due to COVID, we usually have a day of royalty, which is like a teen girl workshop, and they do vision boards, and we have speakers come in, and we do a lot of self-care and mental health. Of course, with COVID, we were unable to do that. So hopefully we can bring it back later this year or next year. But that's the workshop that reinforces everything I just talked about. And I feel like it may be some notes that adults need to hear as well. Who knows? Yeah, but that's RoyalTee Girls, and we're currently revamping the brand so that it can be ready again back in the fall. And I'm excited about it. It's going to be its own separate magazine. It was part of RoyalTee Magazine, but I'm like, it needs its own book, because certain things that we talk about with kids, I want to put in the RoyalTee Magazine, so it needs its own little platform.
That sounds like a good idea, especially I really like where you're going with all of that, especially in the social media environment of today. There's so much negative influence out there, and with girls comparing themselves to one another, and just a lot of very negative pressure. And the fact that you're just this like shining light, positive energy, actually being a mentor yourself, how does it feel to be a mentor to these young ladies?
Um, sometimes it feels scary, honestly. I'm not gonna even lie, because just once you get over the fear of someone always watching you, whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not, it gets fun. The scary part is that being put on a pedestal part type of thing, because you always feel like I gotta be perfect. I can't mess up. I can't say the wrong thing. I have people watching me. I have girls watching me, because I'm still a young woman myself. And is it okay if I say I don't care. I'm in that age. I can still say my age. I'm still confident. I'm 30, okay? I'm 30, and it's argumentative. I think I'm getting old, but I talk to other people like, you're not old. Shut up. But anyway,
Yeah.
I'm
You've
young.
accomplished a lot for only being 30 years old.
Thank you. But it's a very transparative experience to be a mentor, because as I'm mentoring and teaching others, they're seeing me evolve and they're seeing me change as well. They're seeing me grow as well, because like I said, I'm still in a stage where I'm learning more about myself, and I feel like I'm not quite the person that I want to be yet, but I'm getting there. I'm going towards that woman that I want to be. So it's empowering to let them see my journey as I see their journey as well, and just learning from them just as much as they're learning from me. And just learning about different people, that's just been the joy of just being a journalist and just having your own magazine and just talking to different people, because I always tell individuals who I interview, I was like, your story inspires me. You make me feel good. You have no idea, when I was coming on this interview today, I was feeling like crap. I was so uninspired, just feeling like blah. But then after listening to you really made me feel good. You made me feel better. And so that's why I always tell people, you never know how your story can help somebody, your testimony, how it can help and build up and encourage someone else. And that's what I really like to do, it in empowering my girls and empower other people, because I mentor inspiring journalists as well with my interns, and I have mentees as well that I mentor with their career, and career turns to personal or whatnot. And I always tell them, it's like you just have to be yourself. You have to be yourself. That's all you can be. The change starts with you. If you don't like something in your life, change it. If you don't like something that you're doing in your life, educate yourself about it and do something about it. And to not look at other people. And these are lessons and things that I tell myself all the time. Nothing that I tell people is not something that I'm not doing myself, because I could get caught up. I had mentioned earlier how I could get caught up in I get caught up looking at other people and other companies. I'm like, oh my God, what are they doing? They're like doing this and this. And I'm just like, why is that? I'm doing the same thing, especially on social media. I'm using the same hashtags. Why is their post, we're doing the same post and they're getting more engagement than me? I don't understand. To not worry about it. It's just, as long as you stay authentic and you stay genuine and passionate about your work, then everything is going to come in. And also to bring your A game, because nothing comes without hard work and a little failure. You're going to fail sometime. You're not going to win in everything. So understanding that you're going to fail sometimes. There are going to be a lot of people who don't like you. There are going to be a lot of naysayers, a lot of doubters. When I started RoyalTee Magazine, when I told people that I wanted to do a magazine, they're like, ew, why? What? Even to this day, I have doubters like, oh, what? Expensive hobby much? And I'm like, an expensive hobby? You want to see how much this hobby gives me? But no. But to keep going, to look past that and look past that negativity and just stay on the road. keep your eye on the prize and just remember the bigger picture and remember your purpose on why you wanted to start what you're doing now, whether that's in your career, whether that's in your entrepreneur endeavors. Just remember the reason on why you wanted to do what you wanted to do in the first place.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about owning my own business is that if I want to do something cool, I can figure out a way to make it happen, and it's really
Yeah.
exciting. You've been full of wonderful advice today, and I think that a lot of people are going to want to keep following you. So where would our audience go if they want to follow you on social media or your website? How do we find out more about what you're up to?
Of course. So I would start first with the website, RoyalTeeMagazine.com. That's RoyalTee magazine.com. And there's also Twitter and Instagram, RoyalTee Mag, RoyalTee Mag. And I know I mentioned girls is getting a revamp, but I'm going to give you the link anyway. You're not going to see anything on it, but just follow for the future. And that's RoyalTee Girls, RoyalTee Girls. And we're also on Facebook as well. So like us on Facebook. We're building up our YouTube channel, RoyalTee Magazine, which has been a huge help thanks to my interns. Fun fact, I really like social media is really like a blog to me. I'm one of those millennials who are like, I really don't care for social media, but being in the media and what I'm doing, I got to be involved. So I'm going to make it a personal goal to get more active on YouTube and get that going. That's just a fun fact, but no, for real, I'm always on social media. But yeah, that's pretty much it. RoyalTeeMagazine.com, RoyalTee Mag on Twitter and on Instagram.
Well, Alexa, thank you again so much for joining us today. It's great to hear your story and about all the exciting things that you're up to, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for having me as well. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're absolutely welcome, and hope to have you back on the show at some point in the future.
Thank you.
All right. See you later. Thank you.